I was getting ready to go to history class when Casey whispered to me, giggling, "Did you hear? Stefan's dad works with the CIA." Things were getting unbearable. Every day, a new rumor weirder than the last emerged. At first, Stefan said that he went to jail and that when he got out, his family couldn't live with the shame he brought them. So they sent him to a school far from them. And before that, he said that his family were secret assassins that no one knew about and that they came into the city on a secret mission. If it was so big of a secret, how come he told us about it? And now this. Stefan told me a lot about his parents once he started going to our school. And believe me when I say they were nothing like the things they were being said about them. It was the exact opposite of anything you might have in mind. The truth behind his family was shockingly hilarious to me. And the reason was unbelievable. Just like a bedtime story. Stefan and I hadn't been going out for even 2 weeks, and the rumors were already spreading around. We were both the talk of the month. Frankly, Stefan was a very handsome guy with an athletic body. I was the opposite. I looked like a 4th grade girl with my childish face and tiny figure. That's why we made an odd couple, but I couldn't have cared less about what others thought. What was important to me was that we were both happy. If I'm being honest, I didn't know if my relationship with Stefan would work. He still hadn't asked me officially out on a date. He was content in hanging around in school and during the break, and he was not the shy type either. Maybe I wasn't the kind of girl that makes the first move with guys, but I really wanted to go out with Stefan and get to know him better. So I collected myself and went toward him, then said, "So, Stefan, do you want to go out with me for some ice cream after school? It'll be on our way home." He answered, "I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea. Ice cream damages the teeth." This was the weirdest thing I had ever heard. He could have just said no with a better excuse. At first, I thought he was joking, so I laughed, but he looked way too serious. I tried to insist, but he told me that he had an important thing with his family during the day, so he couldn't make it. I left annoyed, but then Casey told me that Stefan wasn't from around here, that maybe where he was from, guys like to wait and take it easy with their relationships. But I thought differently. I thought Stefan wasn't interested in me as much as I was in him. What Casey told me made me think this through. I mean, if he wanted to break up with me, he simply would, right? Besides, I was also busy that day. Ever since my dad bought his toy store, I had been working there part-time until he could find someone good with children. I went home, changed, and then headed straight to the shop. You will not believe who I found there. Stefan was holding an older lady's hand and pointing at a toy on the shelf. This was the important thing he had to do and passed on going out with me for? Buying toys? He definitely didn't know that this was my father's store. I never mentioned it in front of him. "Stefan," I called him. He looked around and dropped the lady's hand hurriedly. "What are you doing here?" I didn't expect his response. He lied straight to my face. He said that he and his mom were buying some toys for his kid brother. He told me when we first got to know each other that he was an only child, that his parents had him after 13 years of being married, and they couldn't have another. Could that woman have been his girlfriend? Was he one of those weirdos who liked women who were as old as his own mom? He was holding her hand very fondly. If that wasn't the case, why did he freak out when he saw me? I kept thinking about this whole ordeal the entire day. I couldn't find an answer till I called Casey at night and asked her about it. She told me that his parents could have adopted someone. He never mentioned it to me, but he also never denied it. Once again, Casey succeeded in waving away my worries. She was really good at that. A long time passed without me broaching the subject. I thought that with time he'd explain what had happened, but he didn't. My friends and I decided to go camping after the school year was over, since none of us had any plans for the summer. Cool, right? The clear sky shone above us, and we circled around the fire, eating s'mores and telling ghost stories behind the lake. We were going to have so much fun together. All of us agreed to join except one. That's right, you knew it, Stefan. Stefan looked terrified as we talked about the bugs in the woods, and that it was essential to buy some spray. He didn't explain why he refused. Everybody felt that Stefan just didn't want to hang out with anyone. He pissed me off. I stood and told him, face erupting like a volcano. "What? We are not good enough for you to come hang out with us? Camping damages the teeth?" So Stefan, in order to calm me down, agreed to go with us. However, during the camping day, he texted me saying that he was sick and that he wouldn't make it. I tried calling him several times, but his phone was out of service. I felt really disappointed and worried about his health. Then I started getting suspicious of him again. I knew he was hiding something from me. Maybe he was going out with that lady from the store and thought with me out of the picture for several days, he could hang out with her easily. I would not be this stupid. I would not allow someone like Stefan to mess with me this way. I went directly to his house without telling him that I was coming. It was the first time I ever went inside his home. Usually we parted ways on his doorstep on our way home from school. With every step driving me closer to his door, my heart beat faster. My instinct told me that I was going to witness a disaster. But what I saw, I couldn't believe my eyes. Even the silliest bedtime stories couldn't have told what I saw. I rang the bell a few times, but no one answered. So I thought about leaving, but I didn't want to stay angry the whole trip. I started banging on the door harder and harder. I didn't mean to open it, it just did. "Stefan! Stefan!" I called, but no one answered. I went inside, and I heard calm music from deep within. Was it possible he was spending a romantic night with candles and music with that old hag? Don't be silly, I told myself. He won't cheat on me inside his own house. All along the way to the bedroom, I found toys tossed everywhere. When I entered the room, I saw a picture of me and my friends and Stefan hung on the wall. It was without a doubt his room. I saw a photo of a kid on the counter, and it looked just like Stefan. Could Stefan have had a son? No, that was impossible. Did he buy his toys from our store for his son? What a lying, deceiving... I was gonna get out of the room, but then I saw a crib. And what I saw inside the crib made me pee myself from laughter. It was Stefan. He was wearing a onesie, had a sucker in his mouth, and was looking at me completely shocked. I couldn't stop myself. I started laughing until I had tears in my eyes. I fell on the floor and held my stomach. What the heck was he doing? I could barely hear his voice calling me. He held me with both of his hands and started shaking me. "How did you get in here, you lunatic? And what's so funny?" he asked. I looked at him and said, "Don't you know how ridiculous you look? You have that in your mouth. What are those? Are you wearing diapers? What kind of joke is this?" I exploded once again. I stopped once I heard his mom saying, "My sweet cupcake, I'm back home. Come, let Mommy make you the best and sweetest hot chocolate in the entire world." I was so shocked, my mouth fell right open. A woman entered. She was the same one from the store. She was really his mom. Even though she saw me, that didn't stop her from talking to him like a baby. She went to his side, kissed him as she pinched his cheek, and said, "Who is the cutest baby in the entire world? Yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are. How's the kindest baby? How's my baby boy? Is it you, darling, my baby boy?" Was she crazy or something? Stefan asked me to wait for him in the guest room. And after a few minutes, he came out wearing normal clothes. He looked worried. Even I was worried. Him getting caught cheating on me would have been easier than this. I didn't know what kind of excuse he would tell me, but what I saw wasn't a dress-up party or a Halloween. It was literally his lifestyle. He held my hand as he told me everything. Stefan didn't want a normal life. He wanted to stay a kid forever. Maybe he wasn't like that in the beginning, but the way his family spoiled him and turned him into a lunatic, he wanted to live in Neverland, where children never grow up. But that wasn't possible. Time passes and we grow older. We can't stay children forever. Add to that, Stefan was ruining the best time of his life. He told me he didn't want anyone to know about this. At his previous school, he told a friend of his who ratted him out, and he ended up being the school's joke. So he changed schools, and now he's frightened that he'd have to move schools again because of me. He also told me that the reason he couldn't go camping with us was because he couldn't sleep away from his mom. What I thought was funny at first glance turned out to be completely sad. I don't think Stefan really comprehends what he's doing. He really just likes the attention, living like a child and playing with toys all day long. Stefan lived way too long being deprived of a normal life. So he can't possibly understand the fun behind dating and eating ice cream without any limits and camping in the woods. But at the end of the day, it is his lifestyle. Who am I to judge? Yes, I felt sad for missing out on a normal relationship with him. I really liked him. However, I promised him I'd keep his secret. When I was saying goodbye, he offered me a box of food as a little experiment on his way of living. And I gotta admit, it was 1,000 times better than adult food. So, what did you think of my story? I would like to hear your opinions and thoughts. Also, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories.